What's up, you guys? Thank you for clicking on this video. So as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be doing another leak update here on the channel for you guys. Something that I covered way back in, I think this was like March or February, coming up on a year ago now, which is pretty crazy. I'm going to be doing some more leak updates this month on the channel about some stuff that I've been going back and researching and seeing what's come true and what could come true based off of what has already come true, you know. But this is a leak that I'm going to cover in this video from Seth Sunthe, which I believe he got this from somewhere else, from like a Chinese social media page. So just keep that in mind. But I'm going to read what he said here months ago, and I'll give you guys my thoughts on everything as always, because there is some interesting updates here to talk about that have happened since this piece of information and rumors came out. So he says here, and I quote, "Rumor is Energon Optimus is currently being planned as the next Titan bot, not Star Convoy. He supposedly includes the drones and trailer. Obviously, what makes him go Titan class, I don't know, but that's just the current rumor as of now. No Wing Saber from what I've seen. Hasbro is not sure whether the next Haslab should be Gigatron or Primus. Both are in development. Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime reissue is coming for Hasbro. It's great enough, and they don't see remaking him soon. It is not the mysterious leader of the Walmart capsule. It's an AOP repack. Sentinel Prime is coming as a retool of something else." And additionally, after he posted this, he was replying to someone asking about the validity of this source and where it came from, basically. And he says, "Rumor is still a rumor, though to clarify, it's from the same group of leakers as always. It might end up on nothing, as it might end up being happening. First, it was just hinted that a new Prime bigger was coming, and now just recently it was discovered it turned out to be Energon OP. I'm sharing it because the sole idea is insane, not sure what is going to give him the Titan class price if he ends up happening as the rumor says. Also sharing to see if people are willing to pay more bucks to buy what is basically a Commander Plus." So now that I'm reading this over again, I think this was actually a leak I covered in 2024, I believe before Age of the Primes got revealed with Star Convoy and everything like that. So this was probably in, I believe, September of last year, so well over a year ago. So I just figured it would be interesting to revisit this stuff, knowing what we know now, a year in hindsight. So let's tackle this Optimus Prime Titan class sort of thing. Obviously, we know now the Titan class was Star Convoy, and, you know, this was either misinformation or was just straight false or fake, whatever. But it was interesting to note here that the original leak and rumor was to be a Titan class Optimus Prime for 2025's Generations lineup. So it really makes you wonder, does this mean that maybe the information that was given from someone in China or whoever from Hasbro, Takara, it was maybe lost in translation, or there was a lot of talks going on and information being thrown around at the time between doing an Energon Optimus Prime and doing a Star Convoy? Maybe it was between those two versions of Optimus to get the Titan class treatment in 2025, and they obviously ultimately chose Star Convoy. There's a few different scenarios you could think about as to why it was originally rumored to be Energon OP instead of Star Convoy here. I'm leaning towards, like, this is my opinion and speculation here. I'm thinking that Energon Optimus is planned at some point, and there were talks over at Hasbro and Takara to do him, but they chose Star Convoy, and they're planning to do Energon Optimus later on down the line, because this does tie into my previous leak update video where Takara filed a trademark for Grand Convoy, which is Energon Optimus Prime's name over in Japan for Superlink. So it seems like Hasbro and Takara are drumming up things for an Energon Optimus to come out at some point. I'd assume, since we already have a lot of things known for 2026, I'm assuming he's going to be coming in 2027, or maybe he is for 2026, because I can't remember if we know the Titan class for next year or not, or what's going on with that. But I'm assuming he's probably going to be a 2027 release. And it is interesting that a few months after this leak, we got another leak that Takara filed a trademark for Energon Optimus Prime. So I definitely think there is a lot of talks going on over at Takara and Hasbro of doing a new Energon Optimus, and it is coming sooner rather than later. And Haslab being between Gigatron or Primus, both being in development, this person was saying here, I honestly don't know. There's been updates about the Haslab being revealed at some point soon. It's going to be in 2026 or whatever. So we do know that another Transformers Haslab is coming here shortly, but we have no idea on what it's going to be. I think Primus and Gigatron are safe assumptions, and going by this leak that was actually proven, or it came out to be false when this came out. Like, people were saying, like, other leakers in the community were saying that this was a fake leak. But it seems like as time went on, this became just a bit more credible as more information got out there. So I honestly don't know. I mean, this person could be right with their information that's between Primus or Gigatron, or again, it could just be false information. It could be information lost in translation between Chinese to English. Who really knows? There's quite a few different scenarios as to what could be going on here with this info. But I think Gigatron or Primus are good assumptions. Gigatron, I really would love for him to just be a mainline commander class, just to get the Galvatron repaint and, you know, to get that BotCon Beast Wars Megatron repaint with a new head. There's a lot of possibilities with that mold and character design, so I wouldn't want him to be just put into that Haslab box, like the mistake of doing Magnus and Optimus as a Haslab, in my opinion. Primus, I think, would be a better Haslab, you know. Make him big like Unicron, price him at probably, I don't know, 500-600, and he would probably sell pretty well. They would probably set it to maybe like 15,000 backers, nothing too crazy like before, but who knows? We really honestly don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if they go with either of these two characters. In the Galaxy Upgrade Optimus, it does make sense in the context of what we've been seeing the last year or so now with all these reissues. And Hasbro has been talking about recently, because I remember last year at the time and the year before, Evan and people at Hasbro were saying that, oh, we don't feel like doing a Cybertron Optimus update to be more accurate to the cartoon. We think the Galaxy upgrade from Siege in 2019 is good enough. You know, they were saying stuff like that at the time. So I think a Galaxy Upgrade Optimus reissue is planned probably next year, I'd assume. But I also think, going by what recent info Hasbro's given in interviews and Instagram DMs, they are seemingly open to doing a new mold for Cybertron Optimus, probably at Commander Class or maybe a small Titan like Star Convoy, at some point down the line. I would not be surprised if he's a Commander Class for 2027 or 2028 at the earliest, but I would not be surprised if they continue the current trend that they've been doing the last couple of years with reissues. We've seen this with the G1 Optimus last year, where we got the 86 one shortly after. We're seeing this with Predaking now, where they've been talking about that they have plans to do a new one, but then they just reissued the Power of the Primes figure, when we're probably going to be getting one in the next 2 to 3 years. We're seeing this now with the 2007 Studio Series Optimus getting a reissue in the UK, when we have a listing for Leader Class 1 in 2027, literally a year and a half from now. So they continue to do this, and there's probably some other examples that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. So I would not be surprised if this one comes true either, and then like a year or two later, they come out with a new mold Commander Class that's way better and way more accurate to the Cybertron cartoon. I definitely think it's probably coming at some point. And I find it interesting to note here that this leaker said Sentinel Prime is coming as a retool of something else. I'm pretty sure this was months, close to a year, before we got that listing of the Sentinel Prime pack that's coming out in Age of the Primes next year in 2026. Because that listing came out in, I believe, was it May or June of earlier this year? And this I covered sometime late last year. So I think this is another one of those leaks from this person that came out that is true. And you look at this list as a whole, it really does seem like this person was onto something with the info that they were given, and maybe some of it was outdated, or it was false, or it was lost in translation between Chinese to English or something. We don't know. But I think this confirms here that the upcoming Sentinel Prime pack for next year is not going to be a new mold of like the animated or the IDW figure, but it's probably, in my opinion, it's going to be a retool of, this is just my speculation, but I think it's going to be a retool of the Siege 2019 Astro Train mold into some form of Sentinel Prime's comic book look from IDW, because they did do that before in Titans Return, where they took the Astrotrain mold and they used it for Sentinel Prime, or maybe it was the other way around. I can't remember who came first, but I could see them doing that as a reference to that figure, and also a reference to obviously the IDW design, because they have done that in the past with certain characters and figures. They just recently did that with Windblade and Slipstream last year in Legacy United, where it was kind of a reference to their feud in Cyberverse, but then again, it was also a reference to the Thrilling 30 Windblade being repainted over in Japan into Slipstream. So I think that is probably something that's going to happen. He's going to be a retool / repaint of the Astrotrain mold to reference those two eras of Sentinel in the franchise. I think that would make the most sense. But who knows? We're really going to have to wait and see. But it seems like as time goes on, the information from this rumor and leak list here that was originally said to be false by other leakers in the Transformers community is now kind of becoming more and more true and valid as time goes on and as we get more information. So I just thought it would be interesting to look back at this, because it seems like a lot of stuff here is coming true. But yeah, guys, let me know down below. How do y'all feel about this leaked list from a year ago that I covered? Do you think this stuff is going to happen, or do you not? And yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. Catch y'all in the next one. Bye!